Rebuild listeners. It has been a while. It is your co-host Chauntae Gold with
Alyssa Vargas. Hi.
Hello. Oh my goodness.
I
We've
know
been
it's been
MIA.
for a month, right? It's been a month.
I think so. Maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's
Long.
reasons.
Yes, there's reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little, well, not a little, but a pregnancy update. I mean, you might have noticed that I haven't been on my social media. And then, yeah, we took a pause with the podcast. So, yeah, I got some unfortunate news with our genetic test that came back, our NIPT results. Um, Long story short, and I'll explain everything that's been happening the past couple of weeks, but long story short, our baby has Down syndrome, and it has been hard, as you can imagine. I'm getting emotional about it. I wasn't
Oh, yeah.
expecting.
I. Oh,
No, it's just
good.
because I've cried so much, and I have really good days, and um, it's probably, and those days are probably good because I'm not talking about it. But yeah, so baby has Down syndrome, and like, yeah, I guess about four or 5 weeks ago, I got a call from a nurse. I had my blood work done the week before, and it was a Monday. I got a call from a nurse literally on my way to go see a friend at the park, and she said, "Hey, we got your results back." And I thought it was strange that she was calling me because I was expecting to see the results on my portal, and they weren't there. So I something in the back of my mind said, like, okay, well, that's weird. I like all my other blood results were there except for this one specifically. And so when she called me, I did think it was a little strange. She's just said very casually, like, hey, you have your results came back and you have a high chance of Down syndrome. And I just said, okay. And I didn't really think anything of it. Um, Probably also, like, I just had such a smooth pregnancy with Isaiah. And so in my head, I was just like, oh, this is high chance doesn't really mean anything, right? And so I went to the park, saw my friend, haven't seen her since high school, and it was great. And then the nurse scheduled a appointment with my genetic counselor later that day. My genetic counselor called me, and her tone was very serious, and she said, so I want to talk to you about your blood results because it came back with 98% chance that the baby has Down syndrome. And I honestly can't remember the rest of that conversation, but she told me what my options are. She explained to me the diagnostic testing, like if I wanted to go further and get a definitive answer, if in fact the baby has Down syndrome, then I can do something called a CVS testing, or I can do an amniocentesis or something that's called an amnio. Both have a slight risk of miscarriage because it's pretty invasive, but I went for the CVS because that was the soonest that I could get it, was that literally that Friday. The amnio, you have to wait until you're like week like 16 or 17. So you have to wait even longer, and then test results come back 2 or 3 weeks later. And so I'm just like, I'm just going to go for the CVS. I can get book that appointment this Friday. And so what the CVS is they stick a catheter in your vagina, and then they stick another like testing tube in there, and they get samples of the DNA in the placenta. And when they get all of those cells, they count every single one of those cells to see if it tests for Down syndrome. And the amnio, I think they stick like a something in your stomach, like some sort of like thin needle. So it is pretty invasive, but this one specifically, the amnio, it's a little bit more accurate. Hold on. Oh my God, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. But it tests the direct amnio fluid of the baby.
Yeah, and I think at that point, Chauntae had what we talk all the time on WhatsApp, and she WhatsApp messaged me just, this is happening, and I'd call her immediately, and we're just both on the phone crying because it's just shocking. You just don't think it's going to happen to you and your baby.
Yeah, and so that whole week I was literally reading as much as I could about Down syndrome and just other stories of women who have had similar results. And of course, there's a very, very small percentage, a small group of women who do have false positives. Kevin told me not to read those because he didn't want me to get my hopes up. But anyways, I went for the CVS, but luckily the next day after I talked to my genetic counselor, I had an anatomy scan, an ultrasound, I should say. And the ultrasound did confirm that there was 2 soft markers that showed up that was in alignment with the blood test. The amniotic fluid behind the neck was a little bit thicker than what they would like to see at that stage, and there was showing no like nasal bone, which is common in kids with Down syndrome. And so she did say that chances are very high, but if I wanted to proceed with the diagnostic testing, then I can. So that Friday I went to another specialist who did the CVS testing, and the doctor was just absolutely amazing. His name is Dr. Montgomery, and I feel like he was just meant to be my doctor.
Like what you needed in that moment.
What I needed. Because he was I think he saw the cross that I wear, and he slowly and gently brought faith into the conversation and said, we talked about so many things, but when he brought God into the conversation and told me that what to expect the next couple weeks, and he said, he's like, the chances that this will be a false positive is really low, so I really need you to prepare your mama heart for a positive test. He's like, prayers are going to change. Prayers are no longer going to be to not have a baby with Down syndrome, but to pray for the best possible outcome for this baby. And it's important that you understand that after you get through all of this, that you still have your faith in God. And at the end of everything, he asked to pray. He asked to pray for me, and I appreciated that so much. And him and the ultrasound tech, we held hands, and he prayed, and I just cried and cried and cried. But
we need more doctors like him in the field.
Oh my gosh, I appreciated that so much. And we started talking about the Bible and strength, and how he loved Kevin, because I told Kevin, and I think not just him, but there's a few doctors, my gyno and the genetic counselor and nurses, who would ask me what I plan on doing, and I when they first asked me, I didn't really understand what they were suggesting, and a lot of them, what they were basically saying is, do you plan on continuing this pregnancy or not? Do you plan on, like, if the results come back positive, do you wish to continue? And just being asked that question just made me really sad because, yes, of course, I plan on continuing. And it's just sad, I just wasn't expecting, obviously. I mean, nobody expects it to happen. But, yeah. And so I told him what Kevin said. Kevin has been just the best person I could have in my life. He, he obviously was sad and disappointed too when we had our first conversation. Um, but he said, we don't do what's convenient, we do what's right. And you and I can handle this. We got this. I'm going to do my best to take care of you the best way that you need. He's like, I understand that you're going to go through things differently because you're the mom and you're a woman and you experience a lot of things that I don't, but I'm going to try my best to take care of what we need to take care of to give this baby the best life as possible. And he's like, so we talked about just like family values and the way that we want to proceed. And he said, look, nothing changes. He's like, nothing changes. This kid is going to have the same expectations, the same standards, the same goals. Of course, how he or she gets there is going to look a little bit different, but our standards for family is not going to change. And so if Isaiah's going to do something, we're going to expect this other kid to do it too. It might take him or her a little bit longer. It might look a little bit different, but we're going to have those same expectations. And, a lot of things going through my mind, like, 'cause I talked to Isaiah in Spanish, so it's 100% in Spanish. Me and my mother do, and then he, gets English from everybody else. And so in my head, I'm like, should I talk to should I talk to this baby in Spanish? Like, is that going to be beneficial? Because Isaiah is actually struggling. We're going to put him in speech therapy this summer. But I wonder in the back of my mind if he's struggling because of the bilingual. And I know, and I hear a lot of bilingual families saying that no, it doesn't matter, but I do see him struggling a little bit, and he's using a lot more English words than he is Spanish words. And so, yeah, I'm because of that, I'm kind of thinking in my mind, okay, well, if Isaiah is struggling and he's so advanced in a lot of things, like he's a very smart and intelligent little boy, if he's struggling, then, well, I mean, is it even worth trying to be bilingual with the next kid? So yeah, like little things like that were running through my mind, and just plans that we've had for our family. I've asked Kevin, like, well, should we still do this, or should we do these things differently? And he's like, well, let's just wait. Of course, I'm like trying to plan the next 20 years.
She's already planned the next 20 years,
Yes.
you guys. You know what's something beautiful? And before we jumped on this, I was talking to Dahlia. So Dahlia is a newer friend of Chauntae and I. She is Camila's nature school teacher and has just been a blessing in our life.
Yeah.
She's just one of those women you can sit with her and talk for hours and you just feel so heard and seen. And I know, Chauntae, you shared with me that you shared the news before you got the diagnosis, but yeah. Her son has autism and she has defied everything she's been told about who her son was going to be. And we've talked about having her on the podcast. We talk about her quite often on this podcast. Anyways, something she told me that I think she shared with you in person that I wanted to bring up is that your child does not have to be the rule. And I think and hopefully we can again have her on here and tell her story, but she was told many times that her son wouldn't be able to do X, Y, and Z. And he completely blew everyone out of the water. And it was not only because of him, right? I think it takes a child's willingness, but she got a hold of every doctor, functional doctor, researched hours and hours. And I know that is you, Chauntae. You will make sure that if she's already done so much research on on Down syndrome. But if there is anything available at your reach, you will get it done. You will put that baby in front of any doctor possible to just make sure that he gets the best outcomes. And then not only that, we know environment,
Yeah.
nutrition, movement, sleep, stress, that all, like your health environment plays a huge role on just
Development and behavior.
development. Absolutely. And I think if there's any levers you can pull, you will pull them. And you will make sure this baby has the best advantage, and will defy all odds. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, and that is very comforting for me, and I feel very blessed and grateful because of my professional background and education with this. I see things from a different perspective, with through the functional nutrition and holistic lens. And so, yeah, and obviously muscle, kids with Down syndrome or just people with Down syndrome, they have a lower muscle tone. And yes, it's funny when I say that out loud or even when I think about it. Guys, we all, like everybody in America has low muscle tone. Like I articles that I was reading, just like specifically about people or kids with Down syndrome is, oh, they have low muscle tone, they're prone to obesity, they have thyroid issues. I'm like, okay, that sounds like a lot of typical people in today. Like that sounds like a 45-year-old woman in menopause, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and so I really took that from a grain of salt. But when you read stuff like that, it's like you've, without the knowledge of nutrition and physical fitness and nature and movement and all of these things, you will start to believe that, oh, this is just how their genetic makeup is. I have no control over this, which I absolutely do not believe. And so I'm very thankful to have this professional experience and background because I can really start this kid off on the right foot. And to be honest, like, Isaiah, another thing too that I've kind of realized, Isaiah is the easiest kid ever. I think he distorted my view on parenting. Either just like a great parent, or he's just very advanced and very skilled, or maybe a little bit of both. But he's so easy. Like he's 2.5. Yeah, he has tantrums, but it's manageable and he learns really quickly. I potty trained him in a week, less than a week. He could actually sleep through. I put him. He sleeps through the night without peeing. Well, it's happened a couple of times, but still, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be accidents. He stayed dry all last night, and then when he woke up, he went to the bathroom. And yesterday, during his nap, he took like a 2.5 hour nap. I actually put him in his underwear in his bed. My mom was like, wow, that's a really bold decision. And I was like, I just want to see what happens. And he stayed dried, and then but so anyways, all that to say, it's like he's just been so easy. He eats everything.
Well, okay. I did see a reel on this, and a mom was like, she goes, she's super sassy. I love all of her content. She's like a mom of 3 or 4, and she stays at home. And anyways, she was like, I appreciate the parents that acknowledge that they have unicorn children, that they just know that their children are easygoing. And it's interesting you say that, because I also view Camila, and Elena as very well-tempered children. Mm-hmm. But I do have to wonder, did we both hit the genetic lottery of well-tempered children?
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe. I don't know. I couldn't put a percentage on it. I've been meaning to look this up to see if someone has put a percentage on, like, genetically, your child, if they're well-temperamented, is like 25%. Or is it like the environment that they're in, that they get a full 8 hour, or 10 hours of sleep. They go to bed at the same time. They're eating well-balanced, nutrient-dense food. We don't obviously do very many processed foods in our home. So of course he eats well. You don't give him processed crap very
Yeah.
often. It's like it's not in his diet often enough for him to refuse the nutrient dense food.
Right.
So I wonder, like, is it the parenting style? Is it that they're on a very regimented schedule? Usually kids tantrum less when they know what to expect, when they do have a structured routine.
Yeah.
I wonder how much is it that we have easy children? Sure, yes, but
Right.
or is it also because of their diet, their sleep, their stress management, how we
Sure.
parent?
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, that's good to point out too. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure it has a lot to do with that too, just how we live our lives as families and the food and the routines and the sleep and being
No
outside.
iPads.
Yeah, no
Out in
iPads.
nature.
Yeah, we're zero iPads. Um, yeah, it was funny because yesterday Isaiah kept asking me for him to watch like Paw Patrol and this like trash truck thing that he really likes. And I said no like 5 times. And it's freaking annoying, because then he'll just follow me around and hang on my leg and mommy, 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 mommy. And I have to take deep breaths and completely ignore him because I know eventually he'll stop and he'll just wander off and start playing with other things. And so I just have to keep reminding myself that, yeah, it would be so much easier to just turn on the TV for the next 2 hours so I can get stuff done and he could just zone out on TV. But I know that's not going to be beneficial for him. So I suck it up and I tolerate them whining and following me around and grabbing my leg and begging. And I'll invite him to help me clean and do what I'm doing. And then I'll send him off. And I give him choices too. I said, your choices are to either play outside, play with your toys down here, or go upstairs and play with your toys. And I repeat that a few times. And every time he goes, no, and I want to like hang on my, but eventually he'll stop and then he'll wander off and go play. So yeah, it's just learning that, like sticking it out as a parent, and also as a parent tolerating the whining and the frustration of them following you around and not leaving you alone.
1,000.
But yeah, I mean, all that to say is, yeah, who knows how my other kids are going to end up, but I know that, and the reason why I say that Isaiah is just so easygoing and he's been such a blessing in my life is because I truly thank God for giving me Isaiah first, because I feel like it's prepared me for whatever I'm going to have to go through with this next one. And I've worked with Down syndrome kids in the past and they're so sweet and they're just really, really sweet. And I've heard from other Down syndrome parents of accounts that I've followed that they're so easy because they're always happy and joyful all the time. And they're the easiest kid out of all of their kids. And I'm looking forward to that. So I imagine that maybe the hardest thing that I'm going to have to deal with is going to be the health issues, because 50% of babies with Down syndrome are born with heart defects and need surgeries at least within the first year of life. And so I'm praying that we're in the other 50% that we won't need any heart surgeries, or if we do, it'll be a one and done thing. And then I know that their, development is a little bit slower. I do have an acquaintance of mine who has a son with Down syndrome, and she's so sweet because I kind of word vomit. She texted me and asked me how I was doing, and she didn't even know I was pregnant, so I kind of like word vomited on her and said, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, and first trimester was hell. And then the first week of second trimester and I told her about the diagnosis, and I said, I know you have a son with Down syndrome. I was going to reach out to you. And she immediately called me and she's like, I'm so happy for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she's like, Down syndrome kids are the best. I love my son so much. Her son's 8 years old now. And so she was just speaking so much life into it. And she said the community is wonderful. She's like, but I understand how you feel. And I've been reading so many other stories and blogs and forums of mothers who have felt exactly how I'm feeling: angry, sad, upset, scared, fearful. But that all goes away when the baby's born. And I know that's going to happen. And so I'm just trying not to feel guilty about feeling this way, because my mom was also really sad. My parents sad for me, and my mom said, I don't want to feel sad. And I said, I know I don't want to feel sad. Nobody wants to feel sad over their pregnancy, but this has kind of put over like a black cloud over the pregnancy. And I can't say that I'm always excited or looking forward to it. I am fearful and worried, but I do have pockets and moments where I am excited and I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I know he or she is going to be such a blessing, and I'm going to love this baby like I do Isaiah and all my other kids that we have in the future. So, yeah.
It's wild. It's like your whole life. This is what makes it so incredible. It's like, did everything have done so far in your life, like, bring you to this point to be the best mom and parent to this child? Like, your career choice in both ABA therapy and nutrition, like, what an interesting combo. And now your child is going to have like an elite parent to like parent them. You know what I mean? Like, you have the skill set on both sides to make sure this baby gets the best parent support, the mom support, essentially. Kevin too, obviously. But I mean, with your background, to be able to just do everything for this baby to make sure that he or she, we don't know, by the way, we'll find out next Friday.
And next Friday. Yeah, we're gonna have a gender reveal. Boy or girl.
I keep saying boy because in my head,
I know, me too. I'll be shocked if it's a girl. So I've been saying he this whole time.
Yeah, we both think it's a boy.
So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's something that I'm very grateful for, and I thank God for giving me the path that I have, because who knows what this will turn into. And when we get connected to the community, maybe it's something that I could offer other moms who have just found out that their baby has Down syndrome, and give them some hope and some resources from like a behavioral and holistic perspective. But yeah, I follow this Instagram account. I forget the account name, but the boy, well, I don't know how old he is, but maybe he's a young man. His name is Kyle. He's a professional bodybuilder with Down syndrome. I believe he's the only Down syndrome bodybuilder. He's an example of defying the odds, because he's worked so hard on his physique, and he competes, and he loves the gym, and he has so many friends at the gym of professional bodybuilders. And I believe this is something that he does with his stepdad. But I listened to a podcast interview that he was on with his mom, and it was so inspiring hearing the mom's story on how she chose to raise her son, because really similar, the doctors give you the list of all the can'ts that your kid can't do. Expect this and that, and you can't do this. And, somebody gave her a book about Down syndrome, and she said she read the first few pages and it was just so sad and depressing. And she was like, is this how my life is going to be? And she decided to just throw it away and just do what she felt like was right. But a big point that she drove in that podcast interview was just how much movement and exercise played a pivotal role in his development. And over time, he developed a passion for bodybuilding and wanted to pursue it. And I'm like, I told Kevin, I'm like, maybe I should start competing. Like get back into
It could be,
it. Yeah.
we won't be bodybuilders.
I
He's
know.
the first, my child will be the second.
Yes. But something that I found so fascinating was so like 85% of people with Down syndrome die of Alzheimer's. And one of the drivers of Alzheimer's is having extremely low testosterone. And so Kyle is actually on TRT. And she asked her doctor because she was going through her hormone replacement therapy. She's, a woman in her menopause stage. She asked her doctor, she's like, is there any reason why Kyle shouldn't be on testosterone? And the doctor said, honestly, no, he should be. And so he is the first person in the world with Down syndrome on TRT. And so she said, we're doing this to get ahead of the game because if low testosterone is a precursor to Alzheimer's, I want him to obviously not have that outcome. Like, let's see like what the best possible outcome can be on top of like the muscle that he's built and his lifestyle and his nutrition. And he's also diagnosed with autism too. So it was just really inspiring hearing that and getting that perspective from like a health perspective. And just giving me a little hope, too, as a parent that, they could do all the things that any other kid or person can do. It's just, they just need the environment set up in a way to help them succeed.
I can't wait to meet this baby.
Yeah.
Coming in October, right?
Yes.
October.
Well, we'll see. And so that's another thing with the pregnancy is this is a high risk pregnancy now. Because Down syndrome babies can have heart defects. I need to be getting scans. I need to be getting anatomy scans more frequently. So when week 30 hits, I'm going to have to come on a weekly basis so they can monitor the baby's stress levels, because if the baby gets too stressed, then they're going to have to induce me and the baby will need to come early. And so I'm praying that won't happen, but they need to closely monitor the development and the heart specifically of the baby. So that's one of like my fears and things that I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Isaiah was 41 weeks. I don't anticipate this. I kind of have a feeling that this baby might even come early. But so I'm assuming like sometime in October, because the due date's actually the end of October.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh, Isaiah was 41. That's right.
Yeah, he came late.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
Weren't you going to share something about connecting back to our previous podcast on
Yeah, so my episode where I talked about the men crisis, the boy crisis, I kind of want to talk about how important men are in women's lives during the most vulnerable times, because when the conversation came up about terminating the pregnancy just because of this diagnosis, I brought that conversation up to Kevin, and he immediately said, no, that's not going to happen. He said, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I need to know that I can look myself in the mirror and know that I did the right thing. And then we had that conversation. I didn't obviously push back or anything. And I just said, you're right. And that was it. I felt safe. I felt like with all the emotions and everything that I was feeling, I felt weak and vulnerable and scared. He gave me the confidence and the reassurance that we can do this. And it felt very biblical. So just bear with me as I kind of explain this. If you don't believe in God or believe in the Bible, this won't mean anything to you. But if you do, this will make sense. So in the book of Genesis, everybody knows the classic story of when Eve took a bite of the apple of the forbidden fruit, and that kind of like triggered all of the sins of the world. And God came down and he turned to Adam and he asked Adam, Adam, where were you? He didn't even say anything to Eve. He immediately turned to Adam, Adam, where were you? Because it was his role and responsibility to lead the woman in the right path, and he was not there. And because he was not there, she made the wrong decision. And that's what that felt like in that moment, was that I wasn't in, that I was just like, just in a very vulnerable spot. The doctors put those thoughts in my head, and there was a second where I was like, okay, well, maybe we do need to terminate the pregnancy. And Kevin said no. And I didn't push back on it because guess what? It's not my body, it's our baby. And he has just as much of a say in it as I do. But not only that, he gave me the reassurance that I needed. And he was the strength that I needed in that weak, vulnerable time. And this goes in alignment with what I was saying in the boy crisis episode, was that weak men create an unstable society. And I feel like if more women had stronger men in their life to tell them, I'm going to take care of us. I'm going to take care of this baby. I know you're scared, but I got this. We got this together, and just give them that confidence that they needed, that more women will make the right choice to keep their pregnancy. And so I know this is a controversial topic, but it's very on brand for me to talk about inconvenient truths or uncomfortable topics. But this was just, it's just been a very heavy few weeks for me. But I appreciate my husband so much for just being the stability that I needed during this time, and really holding my hand and saying like, no, we could do this together. So yeah, I guess, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because, everything that I said with the boy crisis is it's so important to raise men that take care of women. It's so important for our men to be the leaders that they need, to guide us in the right direction, because we just have moments in our lives where we feel very vulnerable, very emotional, really like we can't think straight. And so if we don't have that right partner who can help us and reassure us, it can lead down some paths that maybe we shouldn't be going down. And so it just kind of like reassured me that the things that I was reading in that book, that they're just really important when it comes to focusing on helping our young boys and men thrive in this world. So, strong men create a stronger society.
Yeah, and stronger homes, right?
Yeah, and stronger homes.
When you have a solid husband like that,
yeah,
then you feel confident to lead your children in your home as well. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Chauntae called me crying. Of course, we're both crying, so emotional. And when she told me Kevin said that, I felt like my best friend is taken care of, and like they made the right decision. And God, Kevin's a good man. Like, so he was like,
I feel so supportive. I mean, Alyssa obviously is supportive as always. My family too, our entire family, and people that have reached out, and Dahlia, and a few people from high school too. It's funny, reconnecting with a lot of people that we used to be friends with in high school, and they've reached out and been really supportive. And so I I feel okay. I can't say that I'm always like happy and excited about it, but I feel a lot better than I was. It was really hard for me to get out of bed, and my mom was really great with taking Isaiah. She's like, sleep, do whatever you need. I'll take Isaiah, and I would sleep a lot and then read a lot, a lot. I would just read a lot of the articles on Down syndrome and Reddit forums. But yeah, we'll
You'll
be
feel more
okay.
prepared. It's good. It's good to feel
Yeah.
prepared and like to know what's going to happen. And when I told my mom, she's like, "You need to make sure you research for Chauntae." I was like, "I'm pretty sure Chauntae knows like everything." I was like, "Mom, she's got this baby's life planned."
No, literally, like I have like real estate planned and everything. So
Yep.
yeah, it's funny. We'll see. We'll see how. Yeah, Kev reminds me, let's just get
One
through the
step at a time.
pregnancy first.
Yeah.
Let's see how the next year develops and see where they're at. Um, and so I know there's going to be, more speech therapy and physical therapy and all of these things. And I'm excited to learn too. It's funny because I came across this reel about a mom, I don't want to say complaining, but expressing, I guess, her frustration about how moms who have special needs children are expected to kind of be a behavioral therapist and a speech therapist and a occupational therapist, like to be all of these things. And I sent it to a good friend of mine so we could talk about it. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have a child, and if you have a child with disabilities, and if you're gonna take them to speech therapy and OT and ABA and all of these things, it is expected that you are learning these things so you can apply these things to your child outside of therapy, because it's really similar to like you can't drop your dog off to a training camp and expect your dog to
100%.
come back to like perfect, right?
Right. Well, then, yeah. And then for them to listen
well,
just to your commands without like
yeah.
refreshing their skills or like knowing how to command them properly.
Right. Yeah. So the skills need to generalize in the environment that they're going to be at the most, which is at home with parents. That is the ultimate goal for all of these therapies, is to obviously learn and build these skills, but then they need to apply it in different settings and environments with the people that they're going to be with the most. Right. And so coming from that background from a professional setting, I remember it was frustrating that some parents would expect to just kind of like drop their kid off or get the therapy and not really implement a lot of the things themselves. And I also understand how overwhelming it can be to try to remember all of these things while taking care of other kids. And so having that perspective in mind, I know that it's going to be up to me to not just like put my kid in these therapies and think that they're just going to like learn and develop and I don't have to, I could do like minimal work, but I want to be as involved and as invested. And I also don't want my kid to be in therapy forever. Like I want to learn these things so I can do it myself at home. That's going to be like the ultimate goal. So yeah, I'm excited to learn, and I'm excited to involve Isaiah and Kevin too. This is going to be a new adventure. The thing that he told me, he's like, when I told him the official diagnosis, he said, okay, well, a new adventure for us. And he also said, when we first found out, he's like, I don't think I've ever interacted with anybody with Down syndrome. And I said, well, your baby's going to be the first.
You'll learn real quick.
Yeah, you're going to learn real quick. So, yeah.
Yeah. I know this is slightly off topic. I mean, not really. We're reading Hunt, Gather, Parent, which is one of my favorite parenting books. And Maria was on the call, and she also ABA therapist, owns her own company. And we're talking about, and this I guess has to go with your expectations of baby, kind of, not changing your expectations for your family dynamic.
Right.
And she said one of the things that really, I don't know if shock's the right word, but a sort of
like surprise,
or yeah, well, I don't even know if it's surprise is the right word either. Well, she was just saying within the field, she notices that parents do not hold their kids to the same expectations as their other children. For example, if a kid with disabilities throws a piece of trash on the floor, the parent just goes and picks it up and throws it away. And she's like, your kid is absolutely capable to throw it away and like have chores. And it's a disservice to not allow them the opportunity to try to learn those skills and to be held at those same expectations. Like you said, it might not look the same way. But in the conversation in our workshop, it was like, kids just want to feel that they're seen and part of a family. And I would imagine even a child with disabilities, if they see that their brothers and sisters have chores and are taking their dishes to the sink and whatnot and throwing their trash away, and their parents are doing disservice by doing it for them, I would feel that they would kind of feel like an outcast within their own home, and maybe not have the words to say that, but essentially I think it is important to have those same expectations, and I'm so glad you're sharing that here. But even as simple, she said one of her clients had severe disabilities, and she even just to bring the dish to the sink and stack it. Like he wouldn't be able to wash his own dish, but just bring it and stacking it is something they worked on. And I was like, what a sense of accomplishment he must feel too, that he can do some of the things that his family,
right? See his siblings do too, that he could be involved. Yep. I have heard that too. I actually was talking to a good friend of mine about that, and she, because I was telling her the same thing, that I want my kid to have the same standards and expectations as any of my other kids. And she's like, I think that's so good. And the interview, I sent her the podcast interview with Kyle and his mom, and she listened to it. So we were talking about that. And she did say one of the things that made her sad was that her client's parents don't have those high expectations for their kids with disabilities, and it holds them back. And so I'm just really proud of Kevin for saying that because he has never in his life have worked or interacted with kids with disabilities. He just knows that he doesn't want to treat them differently, that they are capable. He actually said, he's like, the only thing that's going to hold this child back is us. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we set those expectations for him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I know he does shine through the hard times. He was pissing me off yesterday though, and I'm like, take deep breaths. I'm like, he's a good man. He's a good man.
He's done a lot for me over this last month. Suck it up. Just let him go to football, okay?
Don't bring that up. It's going to trigger me.
Okay.
Sometimes. Yes, his last game is next Saturday, and I can't wait. I'm counting down the days. I'm going to be jumping up and down with the sign, last day, last day.
So mean. Let him have it.
I know. Oh. Well, I know that took up like the majority, but Alyssa life.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
This is what we were talking about, whether we wanted to do like Chauntae's life update and then mine, and I have notes, but I'm like, there's no way. Like that's what a weird transition into. Okay, let's talk about my vacation. No, like I was telling her from day one, I was like, we should separate these into different podcasts. Like, let's not. We'll talk about my cut, vacation, and other stuff next week, or if we're gonna do now, we're gonna keep. Now that
we'll keep.
You'll hear from us again.
You'll hear from us.
We needed some time to.
Yeah, I told Alyssa, I'm like, I don't think I could get on this podcast without. I was just waiting for the official diagnosis. To just kind of like accept and move on. But it was so funny, my genetic counselor, when she called me for the official diagnosis, I already in my head was like, it's a positive, so I was preparing to hear that. And she called me when I was on a walk with Isaiah and the dogs. She's like, hey, I just want to talk to you about your CVS results. Are you with somebody right now?
Can you sit down? You're like,
she said that. She's like, do you need to sit down or anything? I'm like,
let me guess.
Can you just get to the point? Like, I know why you're calling me. I said, no, it's okay. I'm just on a walk right now. It's fine. She's like,
right.
okay.
I have a feeling. Hit me with it.
Yeah, hit me with it. I already know what you're gonna say. Yeah, but life is weird.
It is. It's crazy, this life.
Life is crazy. And yes, we do still plan on having a third. So we, I researched this. The chances of this happening again is really low. It's pretty amazing because Down syndrome is 100% random. It's completely random. However, the chances do increase as you age, but even young women have kids with Down syndrome. So it's completely random, and apparently the chromosomes form within the first 4 to 6 days of conception, which is pretty amazing. So, yeah, I've just been learning a lot about about Down syndrome and like just everything, with like the development and the percentage, and I'm sure there's just so much more to learn about this. But yeah, we do still plan on having more, and this actually prompted me to continue that path because there's going to be life for this baby after we pass, and I want them to have family, more family. I'm personally an only child, and so I just want to make sure that they'll be taken care of by their siblings and have community and family around. Definitely want to continue our path. So it's definitely going to be challenging because, kid with disability, a year in, trying to, having another baby.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot, but it's okay.
But you know what? You can do hard shit. We know that.
Yes.
We already know that. A lot of it. You've done a lot. So
yes, we're excited. And there's so much to look forward to. Kevin and I, we have really cool plans in the next few years. It's just, baby making season, baby making postpartum and toddler season. So this is just the season of life that we're in, and we have a lot to look forward to. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for now, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next week. Bye.
All right. Bye.